level.
Yes.
And basically log what is happening on the peer-to-peer networks, especially on BitTorrent networks.
Yes. But you will see that in details in the presentation.
So let's move. First of all, let's see the P2P networks itself. If we are talking about peer-to-peer networks, or if we are talking about BitTorrent, everybody is thinking about the file sharing. File sharing is not started with BitTorrent, of course. There was the very famous Napster, then the later ones, but also originally the internet, in the age of the ARPANET, it was a different how they think about it, and not surprisingly, it was a peer-to-peer network, as they already think about how to create the internet itself. Also, we are using peer-to-peer networks if we are using instant messaging applications like Skype originally, before the Microsoft time. It was purely a peer-to-peer application. Also, the stream media using peer-to-peer technology. And we shouldn't forget about the military area, how the whole internet been started. So they are still using the peer-to-peer networks. Why they are using it? Because of the flexibility and what they think, the security. So let's move on.
Not to mention the robustness, and one more example, Facebook is using BitTorrent protocol to distribute updates on its servers, on its internal servers.
Okay.
Okay, so first thing, just to give you the basics of how this whole torrenting stuff works. Basically, the first thing you do usually is to acquire a torrent file. If you are opening this file, you will find that it's mostly full of text, full of strings. Actually, it's a time-coded data structure, which is basically the torrent file itself is a huge dictionary. This dictionary contains lots of information about the actual torrent. For example, where can somebody have peers for this torrent? This is usually in the original BitTorrent version. This was called the tracker because originally BitTorrent was focusing on one, the reliable one server for multiple servers to acquire peer information from. The second thing, of course, is the file actual name. There can be as well commands or creation dates. And another really important piece of information inside of the file is the pieces, so-called pieces. This is how it works. Basically, if you are grabbing a file, not a BitTorrent file, just a data file, and you want to distribute it on BitTorrent networks, your software, which creates the torrent file, basically grabs pieces out of the file, let's say chunks of pieces, and applies an SHA-1 function to each of these pieces and stores them inside of the file in order to later on, when you are downloading the actual data from other peers, you can validate that this piece is actually a piece from the file and somebody else not trying to fool you by providing you false information about the file.
So with that way, we can make sure that the original file we have got in a torrent through a torrent file, it is truly the original file you are getting. And also, when you are downloading the different pieces, you can check with the SH1 hash that that particular piece is fully downloaded and it is good, so it is checking itself.
Exactly, but the most important information of this torrent file is not a string or a data structure, but an SH1 hash of parts of this file, which is called an info hash. This info hash is used by the client and by the tracker as well for identifying, uniquely identifying
the other peers. So here, the main problem, let's say from security point of view, if there's no tracker, there's no communication. let's talk about the free vs private trackers.
So inside of the private, what is the difference between free tracker and the private tracker? Obviously, the private tracker wants to know information about you, what you have uploaded, what you have downloaded. So, and this is because they want to avoid leechers. Because leeching is a really bad stuff. You just download the file, you don't want to share this file anymore, and eventually it will make people go away from your tracker. So if you're a tracker administrator, obviously you don't want people like this to be involved with your tracker, like you. Yes. So how do they do it? Here we can see a free tracker URL. This is basically the URL that gives out information about peers who are downloading it. And my colleague was sharing his torrent file for an Anchor tracker, and obviously you can. I messed out some of the information. I hope it will not be identified later on, because obviously I have to pay him another invitation. So the thing is that there is a hash, basically stored in strings, before the actual announce part of the URL. And this hash identifies you personally and links you to your account inside of the tracker.
So the point is that in private trackers, if you are sharing your torrent files you have downloaded with your own ID, it means every time somebody using that particular torrent file, it means for the tracker it is used by yourself, so don't share it, of course. So what we see here, even if it's free or a private one, the tracker knows who are you. The private one knows better because they are having a closed environment. So what we see, the interesting part is that when you are doing the actual communication, there is a counting about the uploads and the downloads. So what the closed trackers are continuously fighting with to try to close out those clients which are trying to trick out these counts, the uploaded bytes and the downloaded bytes. However, everything is happening on your own client, so let's say you are not free, but you can do anything on your own computer.
This basically, sorry, just a small addition. The whole communication goes normally over HTTP, and inside of this GET request, your client actually sends out the amounts of bytes it has downloaded for that specific torrent and the amounts of bytes it has uploaded to the specific torrent. So basically, a nasty stuff if you are modifying these counters and peers for the 10th, up till the 10th second of the communication when my client was searching for peers. And at the first, you will see this